वासुदेव Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Canto 2, Chapter 1, Text 1. Sri Sukha Vacha Varyan Esate Prashna Krito Loka Hitam Ripa Atmaved Samata Pumsam Sotavya Ya Paraha.
Sri Shukdev Goswami said, "My dear king, your question is glorious because it is very beneficial to all kinds of people. The answer to this question is the prime subject matter for hearing, and it is approved by all transcendentalists."
Text 2. Sotavyadini Rajendra Ninam Shanti Sahasrasaha Apashyatam Atma Tattvam Grihesu Griha Medinam.
Those persons who are materially engrossed, being blind to the knowledge of ultimate truth, have many subject matters for hearing in human society or emperor.
Text 3. Nidraya Hriyate Naktam Vyavayena Chava Yoyaha Diva Charte Haya Rajan Kutumba Varnena Va.
The lifetime of such an envious householder is passed at night, either in sleeping or in a sex indulgence, and in the daytime, either in making money or maintaining family members.
Text 4. Dehapatya Kaladradishva Atma Sanyesva Asatva Sapi Tesam Pramato Nidanam Pashyanapi na Pashyati.
Persons devoid of Atma Tattva do not inquire into the problems of life, being too attached to the fallible soldiers like the body, children, and wife. Although sufficiently experienced, they still do not see their inevitable destructions.
Text 5. Tasmad Bharata Sarvatma Bhagavan Ishvaro Hari Sotavya Kirtitavyascha Smartavyash Chechata Bhayam.
O descendant of King Bharat, one who desires to be free from all miseries must hear about, glorify, and also remember the personality of Godhead, who is the super soul, the controller, and the savior from all miseries.
Text 6. Etavan Sankhya Yoga Byam Swadharma Parinishthaya Janma Labha Para Pusam Ante Narayana Smriti.
The highest perfection of human life, achieved either by complete knowledge of matter and spirit, by practice of mystic powers, or by perfect discharge of occupational duty, is to remember the personality of Godhead at the end of life.
Text 7. Prayana Muniyo Rajan Nivritta Viti Sedataha Nirgunyastha Ramante Sma Gunanu Kathane Hare.
O King Parikshit, mainly the topmost transcendentalists who are above the regulatory principles and restrictions take pleasure in describing the glories of the Lord.
Text 8. Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahma Samitam Aditavan Dvaparado Pitu Dvaipayanad Aham.
At the end of Dwapar Yuga, I studied this great supplement of Vedic literature named Srimad Bhagavatam. which is equal to all the Vedas from my father, Srila Dvaipanya Vyasadeva.
Text 9. Parinistitopi nirgunya uttama shloka lilaya grihita cheta rajarse akyanam yad adhitavan.
O saintly king, I was certainly situated perfectly in transcendence, yet I was still attracted by the delineation of the pastimes of the Lord, who is described by enlightened verses.
Text 10. Tad aham te vidashyami mahapurushiko bhavan yasya sadadatam ashu shan mukunde mati sati.
That very Srimad Bhagavatam I shall recite before you, because you are the most sincere devotee of the Lord Krishna, one who gives full attention and respect to hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, achieves unflinching faith in the Supreme Lord, the giver of salvation.
Text 11. Eta nirvidyamananam ichchatam akuto bayam yoginam nipa niritam hare namanu kirtanam.
O King, constant chanting of the holy name of the Lord after the ways of the great authorities is the doubtless and fearless way of success for all, including those who are free from all material desires, those who are distressed of all material enjoyment, and also those who are self satisfied by dint of transcendental knowledge.
Text 12. Kim pramatasya bahubi parokshirhayaner iha varam muhurtam viditam gatate shreyase yataha.
What is the value of prolonged life which is wasted, inexperienced by years in this world? Better a moment of full consciousness, because that gives one a start in searching after his supreme interest.
Text 13. Khatvango nama rajashir gnatve yatam iha yusaha muhurtat sarvam usrajya gatavan abhayam harim.
The saintly King Khatavanga, after being informed that the duration of his life would be only a moment more, at once freed himself from all material activities and took shelter of the Supreme Safety, the personality of Godhead.
Text 14. Tavapi etarhi kauravya saptaham jivita vadhi upakalpaya tat sarvam tavadya samparayikam.
Maharaj Parikshit, now your duration of life is limited to 7 more days. So during this time, you can perform all those rituals which are needed for the best purpose of your next life.
Text 15. Antakale tu purusha agate gata sadva saha Tindyat asanga shastrena Sriham dehenu yecha tam.
At the last stage of one's life, one should be bold enough not to be afraid of death, but one must cut off all attachment to the material body and everything pertaining to it and all desires thereof.
Text 16. Grihad pravrajito dhiraha punya tirtha jala prutaha shaucha vivikta asino vidivad kalpita sane.
One should leave home and practice self-control in a sacred place. He should bathe regularly and sit down in a lonely place, duly sanctified.
Text 17. Abhyasan manasa shuddham trivrid brahmaksaram param mano yachejita swaso brahma bijam avismaran.
After sitting in the above manner, make the mind remember the three transcendental letters Om, and by regulating the breathing process, control the mind so as not to forget the transcendental seat.
Text 18. Niyachet visayabhyo kshan manasabuti saratithe manah karmabhir aksiptam shubharte shubhate daraye dhiya.
Gradually, as the mind becomes progressively spiritualized, withdraw it from sense activities, and by intelligence, the sense will be controlled. The mind, too absorbed in material activities, can be engaged in service of personality of Godhead and become fixed in full transcendental consciousness.
Text 19. Tatraikava vayam dhyayat avyuchinema chetasa mano nirvisayam yuktva tata kinchana na smaret padam tad paramam vishno mano yatra prasidati.
Thereafter, you should meditate upon the limbs of Vishnu, one after another, without being deviated from the conception of complete body. Thus, the mind becomes free from all sense objects. There should be no other thing to be thought upon because the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu is the ultimate truth. The mind becomes completely reconciled in Him only.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you all for attending today and very beautiful recitations, Mataji and Prabhuji. Thank you so much. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, Mataji, you are.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you. So today, because of time limitation, I think we have only half an hour. So I think we have to go a bit more. I think there's a song also at the end. So we'll try to do it as quickly as possible, hopefully. So quickly, I don't know whether we can just only read they have just now read the last, today we're going to discuss between verses 15 to 19. And they are the last 5 verses which Mataji and Prabhuji have read. So I don't think we don't need any more recitation again due to lack of time. I would love everybody to read. It would be quite nice. So just quickly, we'll start the session. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Jai Shri Krishna. We'll quickly do the prayers. And then after the class, then there'll be some time for questions and we'll open to the flow. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे Jai Shri Krishna. So today the chapter the Srimad Bhagavatam second chapter, the cosmic manifestation, second canto, first chapter, and we are going to cover verses 15 to 19. So just going back to for the last 4 verses, obviously Srila Sukadeva Goswami, he just reminds Maharaj Parikshit as to why he wanted to say this Bhagavatam to Maharaj Parikshit was because he felt he is the most sincere devotee of Lord Sri Krishna. And also he reminds us that those who give full attention and respect to hearing, Srimad Bhagavatam will attain unflinching faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is none other than the giver of salvation, who will give moksha. And also Sukadeva Srila Goswami also reminds us that the constant chanting of the holy name of the Lord, and this is available to everyone. And what it does is it frees everybody from material desires. And also people who, all the devotees who are free from material desires, and also from people who also like material enjoyment, even for them also it is helpful. And also for the people who have transcendental, who think they have transcendental knowledge, or the jnanis. So he also Sukadeva Goswami also tries to say that what's the value of a life which is so prolonged and wasted, and of no use when you don't even have any consciousness. It is better to have just a small moment of consciousness which will give the spark in your life, and where you can start searching the purpose of your life. That is it weighs much more than your whole long life wasted of not doing anything. And also gives an example of how King Khatwanga, when he had this very short time of life, he gave up all his material desires and took shelter of the Lord. And also Srila Sukadeva Goswami says that, Maharaj Parikshit, your life is only 7 days left, and you can perform all the rituals I'm telling you, and which are needed for you, for the purpose. Why is he telling? Because it is required for the purpose of your next life. So basically Sukadeva Goswami is trying to tell us that this life which we have, there is a reason for this, and as a human being, so the purpose of this life is to prepare for your next life, and we do not want to waste our time. So it's like preparing your exams. If you don't prepare your exam, then you might not pass the exam. So then you have to sit for the exam again. I mean, maybe you might not want to sit for the exam again and your life gets wasted. So in the first verse, Sukadeva Goswami tries to tell that. So he said that in the last stage of one's life, that is when somebody is nearly about to, where the death is coming near. So which is for Maharaj Parikshit, obviously because he has only 7 days of life left in him. So Sukadeva Goswami ji is giving some instructions. He's saying that you should be bold. You should be bold enough. For what? So that you're not afraid of death. Because obviously death is very scary, but he's telling us that you should not be afraid of death, and you will not be afraid of death when you surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And how do you become bold? By actually leaving all your material desires aside, leave all the attachments, leave everything which is related to this body and all the desires of this mind, of material desires of this mind. If you detach yourself from that, then you might become bold. After surrendering to God, you will become bold, and you'll be not scared of death, because you will say, whatever Krishna desires, that will happen, and I know Krishna will do the right thing for me. So he keeps on. So in this first verse, he explains a bit more detail in the purport. Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada says that all the materialistic people, they think that they're so ignorant. They think that this is the main life. This is the permanent settlement, not knowing that all our life is temporary. They don't even realize where they have come from, and they do not want to give up anything in their life. In fact, the attachment, it goes on to the next of kin, like his children, his wife, his society, country, and so on and so forth. And they do not even realize that this is Dukkhalayam, Dukkha Alayam, is full of miseries. This place is full of miseries, and asasvatam, it is temporary. So that they do not realize, because they do not have the consciousness to realize. If they have the consciousness to realize, then they will take further steps to how to improve the life. And this is also implies to people who are very learned, like jnanis, like you have the scientists and the philosophers. They think that this is the only life. They spend the whole life doing only materialistic things. And in that way, what happens, they feel that this type of knowledge, Srila Prabhupada said that this type of knowledge is really wasted, because without knowing the Supreme Consciousness, this materialistic life is wasted. And because of that, they do not even care for any future life and about their own future life. So why does this happen? Is because they have no knowledge of the spirituality or of the Supreme Consciousness or of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that the Supreme Personality of Godhead lives inside us. It's like the eyes that do not see what the brain does not know, So if you know that there is Supreme or Krishna consciousness, or there is Supreme consciousness, then you will start looking in those around you things. You might see things more, because your brain is giving you that sight. But if you do not have that knowledge, then you might not be able to see things. So what's the preliminary instructions in Bhagavad Gita? It says that one should know that the identity of the individual living entity is not lost even after the end of this present body. So that means that the identity remains even after we die. So what Srila Prabhupada is saying, the purport is, as one changes your garment, you change one dress from one dress to another, the same way this Supreme Soul, this soul, is changing one body to another. And so this is so the change of this body, the change of the soul from one body to another body is called death. That is only dying. So this body, the body dies. So because the body dies, it is called death. And it is just a process of changing. And intelligent person, a person who is intelligent, should be prepared for this, And he must try to have the best type of body in the next life. This is what we are all preparing. All of us are preparing that we do not have this material body. We do not want to come back again to this Dukhalayam Ashwasvatam. We don't want to come here. We want to go back to Godhead. So we must start preparing for this exam. So what is the best type of body? Srila Prabhupada says. So the best type of body is the spiritual body. The spiritual body is from where we got from Krishna. And it is obtained by those who go back to the kingdom of God to enter the realm of Brahma. So we must prepare now for the next life. So again, Srila Prabhupada tries to say this foolish people who are very ignorant, they keep on thinking about this materialistic life, and they keep on extending on, as we said, to the relationship, to the work, to everything. And then they forget after death. Obviously they forget because they're so involved in materialistic things. But when devotees try to become Krishna conscious, they're awakening the spirit. So by awakening the spirit, your connectivity is there all the time. So you're not connected to the materialistic body, or your thoughts are not limited to the material body. So here, Srila Prabhupada also says that how foolish people, they tend to forget about this present life, and all of us, we tend to forget about this present life, and only by Krishna consciousness, inner being awakens up, and then maybe by serving the Lord, then maybe things can get better, and maybe whether you can remember your past things, it is very difficult to say. But what an example Srila Prabhupada is trying to say, right? Every night we go to sleep, we forget about this body. And when that forgetfulness is there, we forget about this body, we forget about everything. And when we wake up again, we remember about. So this is what they're trying to say, like the foolish people, they tend to forget everything. They're so much attracted to the materialistic body. And it's also, Srila Prabhupada is also trying to say that death is nothing but sleeping for a few months in order to develop another form of bodily engagement, which we are awarded by the law of nature according to one's aspirations. So what is death? So this is death, as we say, is the change of a body. So the change of one body to another is a death. So this soul tends to sleep, for some time, for a few months, in order to get another body so that it can continue its work. And how do we get another body? By whatever you aspire, whatever you desire. So you have to be very careful of what you desire, because whatever you desire, you will get that. So Sukadeva Goswami is trying to say that how do we get our desires right? What sort of desires do we need to? Your desires will never go away from your mind. So your mind will always have desires, but you have to channel them right. Like, for example, a child has got so much of energy, but if you channel the energy to the right side, the child will grow in a nice way. If you do not channel it, it will go haywire. So the same way, Sukadeva Goswami is trying to tell us that we have to change our aspirations. And when should we change it? When we have this present body, not after we are dead. We won't even know what it is. So how do we do? This is what they're trying to say. Like, how do we do? How do we change our aspirations and desires? So we have to train ourselves. And when do we train that? In this present body, in this life. And as sooner the better, because there's no time. There's no time. We do not know when death is going to come. We do not know when it'll come and knock our doors. So just like King Khatwanga, he had one moment of life, he left every material desires. And material attachments, not desires, material attachments he left. So we should start begin to train ourselves at this stage of life. Even if he says, like, you start training at any stage of life is okay. And even if you have few seconds before death, suppose you realize that Krishna is there, even at that time you surrender, that is also enough. But that does not mean that you will not do, only you will do before death. You might not remember, you might not be in that condition to do it. And also, there might not be a chance for you to do that. So by training, we might change aspirations and we might get a better life next birth. So it is like we're preparing. So death is an exam and this life is the preparation for that exam. If you prepare well, you will get good marks. If you do not prepare, then obviously you'll flunk the exam. So when it is done, so better if it is done from an early life. So that's why we have this Varnashram. So they have explained that Brahmacharya and then Grihastha and Vanaprastha and Sannyasa. So Vanaprastha is the right time, they say, but the earlier, the better. So now the way how Krishna consciousness is going on with kids having that exposure, it is absolutely wonderful. See, they're so lucky, the souls are, they know what they have done. So it's quite nice to see how Krishna consciousness is developing in younger children. And then see, look at their preparation, is so wonderful. Look at their preparation. We are very, very, so we have to come back again. And if we do good karmas, then we might get a human life. And what Srila Prabhupada says is people who do not do any good karmas, then they have to go through that 8,400,000 species. In that life, they have to search which one, because they have been really enjoying the life over here and doing sinful activities. And therefore, they have to go through that grind. So this Sanatana Dharma, Varnashana Dharma is the best place, and that is the best procedure for making human life perfect. And so we have to give up attachment to the family and the social life. And so the training starts off in Varnashram. So Vanaprastha and Sannyasa. So these are the things where the training starts actually. It is for preparation for your next life. So what we have to do is we must have a chance for better desires. So this is where this training is the one which will tell us what to aspire for, how to do it. And as we know that we cannot give up our desires, at least we change our desires. So what must a desire be? We must develop the desire to go back home. We need to go back home. And where is our home? Our home is back to Godhead. Back to Godhead, back to where we came from. And this is where we have to channel our desires. So we should desire to give up all these material things, all the money, home, popularity which we have. We will not take anything with us. So, and also Srila Prabhupada says is this living soul, a living being, as a human being, our only life is to do service, just to service. And service for Krishna is the topmost. And we should have this attitude all throughout. So how do we transfer this desire from material things to spiritual things? So this is what we actually need. So you transfer your desire from this material things, whatever you want to buy a house, buy clothes, buy dresses, buy material things which you're not going to take, to service to the Lord, to the devotees. So that is where you're gaining points, brownie points, so that you can get promotion. Yeah. So basically you're transferring the desire of service from the matter to the spirit, or from shaitan to God, to Bhagwan. So that is about the first verse. So coming to the second verse. So second verse, it says that one must leave home, we must leave home. So to do all this practice, how do we train ourselves? Is to leave home. We must leave home, and then we have to practice self-control. We have to practice self-control, and for that need a sacred place. We need to bathe regularly and sit in a lonely place. and then start meditating. So that is the second step which Srila Sukadeva Goswami tells to Maharaj Parikshit. So Srila Prabhupada says in the purport is that we are so, in this modern civilization, we are all so comfortable just having, what leisure and luxury. We are so comfortable that we don't even think about God. And he gives example as to how all these high officials, politicians, everybody like to keep the high post because they're so comfortable that this, even till the death, they want to keep these comforts all the time. They make the plans, but they do not know when death comes and knocks at the door. Yeah, as we said, like when death, when you're not prepared, then you have to go through the 8,400,000 species, and you don't know which cycle where you will be and how long it will take for you to come to human life, and that only after knowing some, only unless you have some consciousness. So the Sanatana Dharma is the one which gives training for the better next life, and without any training, obviously you'll be stuck. And also how Srila Prabhupada says that the holy places, where we need to go and live near the holy places, but not go and make another home near the holy places. Like you go to a holy place, but then you get all the comforts of the holy place. That is not what's supposed to be desired. You're supposed to get rid of all the materialistic chains of attachments. So you have to leave home. That is what it is recommended. And also by following the regulative principles. And main thing they try to say is the self-control of celibacy, because that is the one which can lead you to wrong places and wrong desires. So, and also explain Srila Prabhupada explains that you have to make the place very pure, sit on a bed of straw, and deer skin and carpet. Those were olden times, but nowadays I think we use bamboo and other asanas. And then we have to sit and chant the holy name without any offense. Chant the holy name without any offense, and then we have to focus on the feet of the Lord. So this will help us to advance spiritually. That's what is said in the second verse. Now the third verse is a bit more, it tells us that the mind, make the mind. So you have to try to direct your mind. Tell your mind what to do. So you have to remember the 3 transcendental letters, Om, Om, and then we have to regulate a breathing process and control our mind, so not to forget the Lord. So over here, this is for people who do not believe in the form of the Lord and who believe in the impersonal form of the Lord. For them, at least by training them, by making them hear to the cosmic sound, or making them produce the sound Om, it causes so much of vibrations in the body that it makes them think differently. And by chanting also, we have to do by chanting this mantra Om, which is called the pranava or the mantra from where this sound has come. Along with the breathing process, what that will do, it will change the habit of the mind. So basically, you're distracting the mind from not thinking about materialistic things. So this vibration will cause some changes in the mind, which will not let you basically think of. So basically, it's occupying the mind, the sound. So when one is occupied with something else, then it gets distracted. So for example, if you say like somebody wants to, somebody saying, I give an example, like somebody wants to smoke, because for a smoker, the best thing to quit smoking is to stop the distraction. So when he wants to smoke, we tell him, have something else, or give some song, or give something else, so that is only the distraction. It's just a split second. Once that thing is distracted, that thing, the split second is gone, then it'll be okay. So how to overcome that? So this meditation, this mantra Om, actually occupies the mind so that the mind cannot go and look at other places or think about other places. So this is one way of training for people who are not, who are impersonalists. So this mind actually is the pivot. It's the pivot, is the middle bit between the sensual organs and the intelligence and ego. So it is very important. So what happens is the quality of your thinking, feeling, and whatever you want, your desire, is changed by doing such exercises, by such training. And then naturally what will happen? The action also will change. So you'll get a good result. And so the Omkara, how did the Omkara? Now we're talking about the Omkara is the transcendental seed, the sound, seed of the transcendental sound. From that is where the sound has come from. And it's the only sound, it is the only sound which can bring about the desired change of the mind and the senses. No other sound can bring like that. So this sound is so powerful. As I said, it can cause vibration all throughout. You have to sit and chant once Om and you will know how it, and if you have to chant properly. When you chant properly, you can actually feel the vibrations of the whole body, just going through the whole body. And that will actually change. It will change. It will make you so much concentrated in the sound itself that you don't want to think about anything else. So over here now, Omkara is the word is a direct link, it's a representation of the Lord. Where, in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10:22, opulence of the absolute, it says, of the senses, Krishna says, of the senses, I am the mind. And in 25th verse, he says, of the vibrations, I am the transcendental Om. And in the living being, I am the living force. I am the consciousness. So important. Look at these three things are so important. And it is linked to Krishna. So how can it be wrong? So if we are not able to chant, some people who can't chant the name of the Lord, they can chant Omkara. They can chant. So Omkara is like Om means oh my Lord, or is a note of address, they say. But again, it is equal to again the Lord's name. So therefore, it is equally powerful. So again, people, some people can't chant the name of the holy name because of imperfect senses. So for them, Omkara is okay. And now, with mind in center of the, with mind being the center of the essential activities, we should try and see how we can change the mind or change the desires in the mind. So devotees tend to fix this mind, on the person of the absolute truth. So what the devotees do, they put the whole thought process on Krishna. They focus it on the lotus feet of Krishna. So that is a type of meditation, a type of things where you do not want the mind to go anywhere else. Just focus on the lotus feet of Krishna. We always said, like, focus on the lotus feet of Krishna and things will start working. So people who are unable to accommodate the personal features, some people, they can't say, how can Lord be like a person? For them, Omkara is okay because they believe like impersonal things. For them, that is the nearest to their truth, their body, their truth. It takes time for them to go to the next level when they realize that this Omkara is none other than the Lord himself. So we have to do this to make further progress. So that is the 4th verse. Let's see. That's the 3rd verse. Okay, then the 4th verse is, as the mind becomes progressively spiritualized, then you have to withdraw it from sense activities. By intelligence, what will happen? The senses will be controlled. So mind which is so absorbed in the material activities, can be engaged in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So therefore, you have to transfix in the full transcendental consciousness. So that is the fourth verse. So in the process of spiritualization, again, Srila Prabhupada tries to explain what is this process of spiritualizing the mind. Is a mechanical, like how you chant the pranava, like Omkara, and the control of breathing, that is called the pranayama. Then you're fixed in a trance. And when you're fixed in a trance, that you attain samadhi. Samadhi, we are thinking, when you attain samadhi, you think you're controlling the mind, but actually it doesn't control the mind fully, because the mind is always absorbed materially. So to some extent, you can do this, because they're giving, again, they give examples of here, like in samadhi, even big powerful personalities like Vishwamitra Muni, who was none other than the son of one of the Kshatriya king, Gadhi, I think. He basically, he becomes a Brahmana because of his, I think he goes to Vashishta Muni or something, and then he asks for a cow. He goes over there to his ashram and he's been welcomed, but then he asks Vashishta Muni for the cow, which Vashishta Muni refuses to give, and then there's a big fight over there. And after that, I think Vishwamitra will go and do penance and austerities, and then he becomes a Brahmana. So even he has all the powers over there. So he goes and also meditates, and he goes into samadhi. But then his senses are also not controlled, because when Menaka comes, he gets distracted, and then he goes to have a child with her, Shakuntala. So they're trying to say that mind, look at mind, it is so, even for the powerful rishis, they can't control. So we are nothing, we are just simple people. So for us, the easy way to control mind is to focus on the lotus feet of the Lord. So mind, you can control to some extent on the present things, to seize the thoughts of the present condition. But apparently the mind will still keep on reminding you of the past activities because of your subconscious state. So it is so difficult to actually control the mind. So the best way, how to, so some things we have to, oh, I can't control you, so the best way to just follow. So the best way to follow is to fix one's mind on the feet of the Lord, or in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Lord Krishna himself only recommends this. And this direct process in Bhagavad Gita 6.47, he says, and of all yogis, the one with great faith, who always abides in me, thinks of me within himself, and renders transcendental loving service to me, he is the most intimate and united with me in yoga, and is the highest of all. That is my opinion. So this is what the mind, they talk about, Lord Krishna says. And mind being spiritually cleansed, we should at once engage. See, when you feel that your mind is okay, all clear, that's the time you have to go and engage into the service of the Lord. And by different devotional activities like hearing and chanting and all the Navada Bhaktis, you should get ready for the service of the Lord. And if you performed under proper guidance, then you will have a surest path of progression. And so the ultimate goal of the progressive search for happiness is to get in touch directly with Lord Vishnu. And Vishnu Tattva is the unlimited expansions of different transcendental forms of the personality of Godhead. of which the supreme and the original form of Vishnu Tattva is none other than Govinda or Lord Krishna. He is the supreme cause of all causes. So you must start thinking of Vishnu and then meditate on the transcendental forms of Vishnu, specifically upon Lord Krishna. And because that's the ultimate goal. And this meditation starts from the lotus feet of the Lord. We should not forget about the rest of the body of the Lord. So, but one should start practice thinking of the different parts of his transcendental body one after another. So in the and Srila Prabhupada explains that Vishnu in the form of worship in the temples are not just arrangements of idol worship. They are Lord himself. But they are also the spiritual centers of meditation on the transcendental limbs of the body of Vishnu. So they're not like just places, but they are spiritual centers on the limbs of Vishnu. And all the deities of the temples, they're identical with Lord Vishnu himself. So common man will benefit in meditating in the form of Vishnu. And Vishnu is the ultimate goal of the meditation. Vishnu, the original form of Vishnu, Lord Krishna. So that comes to an end of this today's session. So I hope I was able to explain things in a way. I was going through the purport. So if you all have any questions, you all can give. It's 2040 now. So I don't know whether we should go straight for the song or you'll want to do some questions. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mamta Mataji. Please accept my
Thank
humble
you.
obeisances. All
Hare
glories to
Krishna,
Srila
Mataji.
Prabhupada. What a wonderful class, Mataji. Everything was explained so clearly. Really nice. Thank you so much. So we can take perhaps one question and then go straight onto the bhajan.
Okay.
Anyone would like to ask a question or share a comment?
Mataji, the class was very nice. You explained very well.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
Very nice class, Mamta Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So should I go for the song straight, Mataji?
Yes, I think Mataji will go for the song.
I know, I
Thank you so
I'll do a bit
much.
quickly also. I think it'll be late otherwise. Hare Krishna. Today we'll sing Gopi Geet and I'll just sing it very quickly. I think we'll have less time now, Mataji. Jayati Tedikam Janmana Vraja Shrayat Indira Shashvatatrahi Dayita Drishyata Tikshutavaka Tvai Drita Savas Tvam Vichinvate Sharada Udashaye Sadhu Jatasa Sarasi Jodara Shri Mushadrisha Suratanatate Shulkadasika Varadhanignato Neha Kimvada Vishajalapyaya Vyarakshasa Vashamarutan Vaidyatanala Vrishamayatmaja Vishvato Bhaya Rishabhati Vayam Rakshitamu Nakhalu Gopika नन्दनो भवान् अखिल देहिनाम् अन्तरात्मदृक् विकनसार्थितो विश्वगुप्तये सख उदेयिवान् सात्वतां कुले विरचिता भयम् वृष्णिधूर्यते चरणमीयुषा संसृतेर्भया करसरोरुहम् कान्तकामदम् शिरसि देहिना श्रीकराग्रहम् व्रजजनार्तिहन् वीरयोषिता निजजनस्मया ध्वंसनस्मिता भज सखे भवान् किङ्करीस्मनो जलरुहाननम् चारुदर्शया प्रणतदेहिना पापकर्शनम् तृणचरानुगम् श्रीनिकेतनम् फणिफणार्पितम् ते पदाम्बुजम् क्रणुकुचे सुना क्रन्दे हृच्छयम् मधुरया गिरा वल्गुवाक्यया बुधमनोर्षया पुष्करे क्षणा विधिकरीरिमा वीरमुयति अधरसीधुना प्याययस्वनः तव कथामृतम् तप्तजीवनम् कविभिरीदितम् कल्मषापहम् श्रवणम् श्रीमदाततम् भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जना प्रहसितं प्रिया प्रेमवीक्षणम् विहरणं च ते ध्यानमङ्गलम् रहसि संविदो या हृदि स्पृशः कुहकनो मनः शोभयन्ति चलसि यद्व्रजा चारयन् पशुन् नलिनसुन्दरम् नाथ ते पदम् शिलत्रिनागुरैः सीदतीति नः कलिलतां मनः कान्त गच्छति दिनपरीक्षये नीलकुण्डलये वनरुहाननम् बिभ्रदात् व्रतम् घनरजस्वलम् दर्शयन् मनसि न स्मरम् वीरयच्छसि प्रणतकामदम् पद्मजार्चितम् धरणिमण्डनम् ध्येयमापदि चरणपङ्कजम् सन्तमं च ते रमणनस्तने वर्पयादिहन् सुरतवर्धनम् शोकनाशनम् स्वरितवेणुना शुष्टुचुम्बितम् इतररागे मारणं नृणा वितरवीरनस्ते धरामृतम् अतति यद्भवान् हानिकाननम् त्रुटियुगायते त्वामपश्यताम् कुटिलकुण्डम् श्रीमुखं च ते जड उदीक्षताम् पक्ष्मक्रीदृशम् पतिसुतान्वया भ्रातर्बान्धवान् अतिविलाङ्घ्यते न्यन्त्यच्युत गतः गतिविदासता बोधगीता मोहितः कितवयोषितः कस्त्यजेन्निषि रहसि संविदम् हृच्चयोदयम् प्रहसिताननम् प्रेमवीक्षणम् बृहदुराश्रियो वीक्ष्य धाम ते मुहुरति स्पृहा मुह्यते मनः व्रजवनौकशा व्यक्तिराङ्गते व्रजिनहन्त्र्य लं विश्वमङ्गलम् त्यजमनाक्षर त्वत्स्पृहात्मना स्वजनहृद्रुजा निषूदनम् यत्ते सुजात चरणा स्तनेषु भीता सन्नै प्रिय धीमहि कर्कशेषु तेनातविन्मतसीतद्व्यथतेन किं स्वे कुर्पादिभिर्भ्रमतीधिर्भवदायुषां नः हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय श्री कृष्ण
Hare
Please forgive me
Krishna.
for offenses.
Hare.
Thank you so
Ab-
much.
Absolutely beautiful, Mataji. Thank you so much for the beautiful bhajan. So I'm sure everyone enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Any final comments from anyone before we wind up the session and we end today's Chad class? Okay, so shall we say our Vanchakalpa prayer?
Yes, Mataji, please.
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa
सिन्धुभयेव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो
Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण
Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki
की
jai.
जय
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
थैंक यू
Thank you, Mataji.
माता जी नाइस भजन हरे
Thank
कृष्ण
you, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you, Mamta Mataji. Hare
Thank you so
Krishna.
much. Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.